Alright guys, so still talking about the latrine theme, and again breaking out of our Western mindset if necessary in the woods. And one of the big problems we're potentially going to face is the lack of toilet paper. Now a lot of people obviously solve that in sort of temperate climates or other regions by grabbing a sort of handful of grass or a handful of leaves or something like that. Now again, what you'll find in these snowy, icy conditions is that's not necessarily an option. You know, the leaves are all off the trees right now. The ground's sort of frozen, so any leaf litter I might find isn't going to be particularly accessible or conducive. And so what I'm left to consider is kind of variations of the Indian method, which is covered in a separate lesson. So understanding that, I'm basically going to be wiping using my left hand and then looking to clean that hand afterwards. Now, whilst I can just wipe with my hand and look to remove any sort of substance and then clean it thoroughly afterwards, I can obviously help myself a little bit with a variation of the Indian method. And what that's going to be is what I christen the Swindian method, because I'm here up in Sweden, and so I've put this kind of cold weather variation on. Now I'm going to be using bare hands today. If you were wearing gloves, ideally you would want to be wearing your outer pair of gloves, because any sort of matter deposited on the glove is going to freeze and is going to be easier to clean off than a liner glove, which is sort of furry or fleecy or something like that, which is going to be much more difficult to clean. And much more likely you're going to be wearing those gloves when you're doing sort of food related tasks, and obviously the cross-contamination risk is something to be considered. So quite simply, with the Swindian method, if I've sort of adopted my latrine position and I've finished my business, what I'm basically going to do is sort of compress the snow to make myself a little snowball, or actually more like a snow patty, and instead of water in the palm of my hand, it's going to be snow. And again, what I'm going to be doing is sort of getting that deep in the valley, shall we say, and kind of giving it a swift wipe. When I'm done with that handful, I leave it in place. If I need more than one wipe, I make another one, and I do the same. And of course I want to do this in as few wipes as possible, purely because it's pretty chilly. It's a bracing experience, shall we say. However, is a good hygienic method, is ensuring sort of a better level of cleanliness than if I was just kind of using my hand alone, and is appropriate to this environment. But again, I just want to highlight, if you were wearing gloves, use your outermost pair of gloves, because they're the most likely, or the easiest to kind of clean up afterwards. Now once I'm done, I've taken care of business, I've returned myself to normal. Obviously, to the best of my ability, I want to get that hand clean. If I've got a sort of a sanitizer gel or something, I'll use it, or as soon as I get access to warm water in camp, or water, I'll give that hand a good sort of thorough clean, especially before I consider any kind of food preparation, whatever the case may be. Okay, so that was the Swindian method. If you've got your own regional variation that you already know of or that you're going to come up with, please do ensure you share it with the rest of us in the thread below.